Tuberculosis outbreak in prison. 73% of all guns to the Caribbean traced back to the United States, while policemen charged for murder remanded. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. The Jamaica Constabulary Force said that it is working with public health authorities to manage an outbreak of tuberculosis among inmates at the Hunts Bay lockup in the St. Andrew South Police Division. 7 inmates at the lockup are receiving treatment for TB, while another 5 are undergoing treatment at hospital under 24-hour police guard. The JCF has sought to assure members of the public that all necessary measures are being implemented to contain the situation and ensure the safety of all involved. And it said it has managed a confirmed outbreak of tuberculosis among inmates at the Hunts Bay since August of this year. According to the JCF, infected inmates were immediately placed in isolation and medical professionals were engaged to lead the response. Meanwhile, 73% of all guns recovered in the Caribbean between 2018 and 2022 were traced back to the United States and trafficked to the Caribbean by various means. It also found that 45% of these trafficked guns could be sourced back to an initial retail purchase in the United States, with most sales originating in Florida, Texas, and Georgia. The report said the remaining 27% of recovered and traced firearms were either traced to 35 other countries, representing 23%, or their source was of undetermined origin, representing 4%. The ATF processed 7,399 traces of guns recovered in crimes in the Caribbean from 2018 through 2022, and 5,400 of those guns came from the United States. The Jamaican government said it will have a mammoth task ahead in repairing several roadways affected by flooding and landslide in recent weeks. Breakaways have occurred along several thoroughfares, while previous patchwork deteriorated for others during the heavy downpour. In some areas, traffic has been reduced to single lane, while one community has been marooned due to a breakaway following Tropical Storm Raphael. NWA Communications Manager Stephen Shaw says along with the repair work, the technical teams will also be carrying out road rehabilitation under the REACH program. A police officer charged with murder was offered bail on Tuesday when he appeared before the St. James Parish Court. Constable Wavell Phillips was offered bail in the sum of $400,000 following a bail hearing. Constable Phillips was charged by the Independent Commission of Investigations in relation to the May 13 of 2022 off-duty fatal shooting of 33-year-old Kadmar Beadle at a bar at Jarrett Park in Montego Bay in St. James. And it's reported that Mr. Beadle and Constable Phillips had an argument at the bar, and during a tussle, Beadle was shot and the policeman stabbed with a sharp implement. Both men were taken to hospital where Beadle was pronounced dead. Constable Phillips, who left the island, was taken into custody on his return to Jamaica 7 months after the Director of Public Prosecutions ruled that he be charged with the offense of murder and making use of a firearm to commit a felony. The police in Jamaica, you can see that they're working hard on making arrests and taking shutters off the road, but it's like a revolving door as the judges just released the shutters back on the street, creating more havoc. Well, this time it is the other way around, as the judge locked up 2 policemen and did not give them any bail. The 2 policemen charged in connection with the controversial killing of 3 males along Windward Road in Kingston over a week ago were remanded when they appeared in the gun court yesterday. A bail hearing for the cops is now set for December 17. Corporal Mark Roy and Constable Kelby White, who are being represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagne, were charged over the weekend following a ruling by the Director of Public Prosecutions. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, said it is building its case against the policemen based on CCTV footage of the incident. INDECOM launched an investigation after questions were raised about the fatal shooting of 17-year-old O'Shane Stubbs, 19-year-old Orlando Campbell, and 20-year-old Keyshawn Simmet on the morning of November 10 on Windward Road in East Kingston. The police claimed that the 3 men were killed during a reported confrontation. They also claimed that they seized 2 illegal guns. But the police high command had questions about the shooting and ordered the detention of the 2 policemen last week. Meanwhile, the police have detained 2 more suspects in connection with the fatal shooting of the bus driver of Homo Technical High at the Manchester-based institution last week, and this was disclosed by Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, head of the Manchester Police. He said the men were held during a police operation. The police had reported that on Friday that a car transporting another group of suspects was intercepted in the neighboring parish of Clarendon. Rohan Gentles, who was the school's bus driver, was killed in view of students on Friday. Mr. Gentles was sitting inside the bus when he was attacked and shot. The police have not yet disclosed a motive for that killing. Meanwhile, taxi operator Lascelles Morgan, who was charged with the murder of educator Daniel Anglin, died 12 days after he attempted to take his life at the Portmore police station. On July 10, the 45-year-old convicted sex offender was charged with murder and kidnapping in relation to the death of Miss Anglin, who was a teacher at St. Peter Claver Primary and Infant School in St. Andrew. Acting Superintendent Michael Campbell, commanding officer for the St. Catherine South, said that Morgan was found hanging in his cell on November 7, shortly after he had returned from the Clarendon Parish Court. He was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was admitted and have now succumbed to his injuries and wicked deed. And I'm sure he will definitely not be missed. The Ocherius police are searching for clues into the case of a suspected murder committed on Monday in Pyramid Heights in St. Anne, and this is after an elderly man was found dead at his home in the gated community. He has been identified as 72-year-old Alan Rattigan. Police reports said at about 9 p.m. a caretaker for the property arrived at Mr. Rattigan's house. Upon entering the house, he stumbled upon the body of Mr. Rattigan, which was tied with a piece of clothing and electrical cord. The caretaker alerted the police, and now they're searching for a person of interest who was last seen visiting Mr. Rattigan in the community, and the police have identified the suspect as only Omar. On to sports. Well, the date for the semifinals have now been decided, and we will see a December 4th date with Glenmore facing Garvey Massio and Ocherius facing McGrath in the DaCosta Cup semifinals. The final will be played on December 7th. Meanwhile, the Manning Cup will be played a week earlier on November 29, with Jamaica College will do battle with St. Catherine, while Hydel will have their hands full with Kingston College. And Ben Francis will continue tomorrow with Central facing Clarendon College, Monroe will face Denby, Frome will clash with Manchester, and Stets will play Cornwall College at the Landilo Sports Complex. And if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamerican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe. And that's news and sports on your favorite radio. My name is Mikey Bounce. I gone.